mezi ma ngwa mura gbe de nga ya ja he ba gbe jago mi mo go ye to me ga ni le te anya to ti bu no wa ni ga mo sa ni wa ti wa ni gbe gi pa nda la ko Ohafia o gi ìjọba bi o gi je be do ko bi o gi be le ge ja popo ai me yo gbe ni ga mo tu go ko bu ma na ma wa ni ge ri afe wa ni ge ri anu be wa ni ga se je to moto ki to ko ri ho bo nya wa ka no eri utu mo fu Nkwebi Ohafia utu mo nwe ya o me pro nyo ni he jo nwe ya he je me ni ge ja pa to ko nda ri enya to ka ka ai me yo gbe ni ga mo tu go ko Igwe Ohafia state wa mna le utu ọmọ nwe ya ai me dio gba ni ga matu gbogbo mo ge ba su gba fu ge furu nkase ai go han piu dumezi ma ye kele ga Ohafia state ai kele ge mba ulugbe ni wo Nkwebi ulugbe ni wo Ohafia ulugbe ni wo ulugbe kwin ba gbege kwin
I am His Royal Highness Eze Igwe Ojike. I was born into the royal family of Opera HM, of the HM, Nkwebi Ohafia. I've been the HRH of the HM for over 30 years. I am currently the traditional ruler of Nkwebi Autonomous Community and the immediate vice chairman of Ohafia LGA Traditional Rulers Council. I was educated in Nkwebi and Ohafia Center schools and had my secondary education at Hope Odell Training Institution, Calabar. I attended the University of Ibadan from 1962 to 1965 and graduated in economics in 1965. I went to the United Kingdom and qualified as a chartered accountant in 1969. From 1970 to 1973, I worked in the City of London as an audit senior and came back to Nigeria at the end of August 1973. I worked for 2 years with Pitmawe Cassette Elliott. After 2 years, I established my own practice as Ojike, Okechukwu and Company Chartered Accountant. The practice has now gone international and is now in the 95 countries of the world as favors Mazer's professional services. I have been a member of the Governing Council of the University of Ibadan and non-executive director of Intercontinental Bank PLC. I've founded many financial institutions and companies such as Ohafia Microfinance Bank, one of the most successful microfinance banks in the world. It has a return on investment of 17%. 1.5% higher than most commercial banks in Nigeria. My palm oil processing company, ESB Industries Limited, processes palm oil with a modular machinery and is rated as one of the highest in the country. I employ a number of young citizens. I also empower women and children. I've done quite a lot for the community. I've established, firstly, a creche. A creche means an institution where nursery mothers leave their young children to be taken care of and go to farm or other businesses. And for me, is free. I employ minors and feed the children until their mothers come back to collect them in the evening. I have also built schools, primary and secondary. And currently I'm paying PTA teachers in Nkwebi Community Secondary School. I've paved roads and opened up roads for all our farming locations so that our people will have easy access to their farms. We've also built infrastructures such as town halls, shopping malls, community halls, etc., for my community, so that life will be easier for them. I also brought electricity and pipe-borne water to my community. So my community has pipe-borne water, which is scarce in this part of the world. Which is scarce in this part of the world. My mission is to make sure that my rural community is very well developed. I've also embarked on programs to make sure that Ohafia, in particular, has electricity 24 hours, 7 days a week. It is one of the projects that I'm pursuing currently, and with the help of God, we will succeed, so that our citizens can take advantage of the digital age, because without electricity, you cannot gain the advantages of the digital age. We are currently doing it at a very, very high cost, and it has to stop. I've also helped our people to have a comprehensive map of Ohafia, which will assist us to plan the town so that there will be order in which we do things. I have 5 children and my wife, who is Blessed Dr. Mary Ojike, has devoted her pension to finance the creche, that is where we look after children for their mothers to go about their business. So we're using her pension to finance it, the whole pension, to finance the project. And my children are all engaged in productive activities. I believe that when one retires, one should come home and help build society. Because if you retire and live in the townships, the villagers will not take advantage, will not gain from your experience. So it's better to live with them so that they can gain from your experience. I have a lot of plans for Ohafia, like the international market at Asaguku, modern hospital, dredging of Uduma River, and also making sure that we get our granite from the river instead of from the mainland, where people are being killed from their daily activities. So my intention and my whole purpose of life now is to transform Ohafia into a viable commercial city where people would desire to live and work. As I stated earlier, I have 5 children. They are all in different professions. I gave them the best education. All of them attended the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and most of them, one went to International School Ibadan, and the ladies went to Federal Government College, Owerri. They are now in different professions. The first one is a banker, and she's a director of Ohafia Microfinance Bank. And I followed my footsteps as an industrialist. She's a manufacturer of Olubu, bitter leaf tea bags, which she sells very well. The second one, who is a chartered accountant, is now the managing partner of our firm, is also the regional director and representative of our international conglomerate, that is Favors Meza Professional Services. He is the regional and African director of that company. The third one is a medical doctor, a specialist, GP specialist, and works in London. The fourth one is a lady as well. She works as a lecturer in Imperial College London, the best industrial university in the United Kingdom. The last one is the one you see daily in Ohafia, is the managing director of the oil processing company. And all of them were trained in both Nigeria and the United Kingdom, and they are all specialists in their fields. As I mentioned earlier, my wife, Eze Dr. Mary Ojike, is a retired director of Federal Ministry of Information and is with me on retirement. Eze Dr. Mary Ojike, she is virtually responsible for all the decorations and for the landscaping you see within the palace premises. You know, the palace premises is called the Garden of Heavenly Peace and Tranquility. So maybe I'll call her one of these days to come and explain to you all these angels. And we have gifts from most international companies, like all these from Chinese companies, from French companies, from Indonesian companies. They are all in this place. The idea of having a palm oil processing company occurred to me in 1993. At that time, I discovered I had a lot of land, and they were either lying fallow or were subject to shifting cultivation every 7 years. And the income from the land was nothing to write home about. I decided to change the use of the land. And the best idea was to commence planting palm seeds or oil trees. In 2018, I thought I had enough to feed a meal. I didn't know it was too little. So I went to Belgium and bought a machinery, modular machinery, which could bring out the best oil. Because I surveyed the methods, the hygiene of local mills. I was not satisfied with them. So I said I should embark on a production line which will be free from debris, free from water, and will give the best results. So we commenced the journey 2017 to build accommodation. Firstly, I had to build accommodation because I'm interested in workers' welfare. I always maintain that the first charge of any revenue from any activity should be on workers' salaries. So because I always had a policy of making my workers happy, so the terms of my employment usually include free accommodation and free medical services. So we imported the machinery from Belgium, and in 2018 we commenced production. I think the first jerrycan rolled out in August or September 2018. We discovered that our plantations could not supply even 20% of our raw material requirement, that is FFBs, fresh fruit bunches. That's what we call FFBs. We started leasing. We leased from Uturu, from Army Barracks, from Ikorikoro, and so many other places. And equally started empowering women by buying loose fruits from such markets as Zakole, Intega, Amobi, and the rest of them. But we discovered that our high quality oil had a very good market. People needed it, and people were in for it. Now we don't sell in jerrycans, we sell in 30-ton tankers, and the profit is very high. But what people don't realize is that the palm oil industry is as capital intensive and as it is labor intensive. And that the palm or the fruit tree itself has all the best quality. It's the only or very few trees that can produce fruits throughout the year. It is the only fruit which has 2 wines and 2 oils. It is the only fruit or tree which can grow up to 100 years and still produce. So it is a gift from God to Igbo land. I would urge people to develop it and to make it profitable. In the next 5 years, we will be a quoted company because we are now installing palm kernel oil machinery. Our expansion program is so that it will become a public company, so anybody can invest in it. Palm oil industry has some peculiar markets. The prices vary almost on a daily basis. It is a cash and carry enterprise. And half of the year, you have bumper harvest. Half of the other year, you don't have bumper harvest. It produces more during odd year period than even year period. So it's an industry you have to watch, you have to follow, you have to monitor on a daily basis if you are to succeed in it. We employ more than 100 people, and we also have indirect employment for more than 200 people. You know, Ohafia alone, people who work for us are more than 100. Even to harvest, for example, if we are going to harvest in a place like Army Barracks, we need 50 cutters that are harvested who climb and cut. We need additional 50 who are carriers, those who bring it out to where the collection point. And then we have another 50 who will pick. You know, when the bunch drops, you leave some all this thing on the ground. So you need people to pick them. So we have pickers, we have cutters, we have carriers. But people don't realize that it is you have to, if it's properly organized, you make money. We are lucky because demand is more than supply. So people come to pick. For example, people from Kano bring their tankers for us to fill for them. And sometimes they get stuck on the way. And we help them to, push their truck forward. From the bush, we have our own truck. We convert the FFBs fresh fruit bunches from the bush to the factory. We don't deliver to people. People come to collect because we have a weigh bridge. It's when you weigh, you determine the price, and then people will pay and carry. Oh, it's terrible. To have a bad road is the worst that can happen to any industry. It not only creates disharmony, it ups the cost of logistics, that is carrying those things, and makes some people reluctant to come to carry those things. So we have shown pictures of tankers getting stuck for a whole day, and we deploy people to go and push it out. People who should have been doing something else and any money will spend their time trying to rescue a trapped tanker. That is a terrible thing. Power. You can't do without power. It increases the cost of production and therefore the price at which you pay for the goods. We use a lot of diesel, and diesel price is high. So the cost of running such organization increases 20-fold. Unless we do a reorganization of our banking system, we are going nowhere. Because most banks are not prepared to support startups. And in any country where people are not prepared to support startups, that country would always be backward economically. In Nigeria, they charge you 40% rate of interest. What activity apart from trading can you do to even make 25% profit, let alone paying interest of 40%? It's not done. So unless we reform our banking system, it will be difficult for any small operator to succeed in Nigeria. If we can devise a way of reducing the interest rate to a manageable level, a single-digit level, people will definitely go into industry. And small-scale industries will survive and multiply. But at the moment, it's not possible. Unless there is a reform of the banking system, unless there is a root and branch reorganization of the banks, no small-scale industry will survive. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot survive on anything other than a single-digit interest rate. At the moment, most commercial banks are not willing to support smaller scale industries because of the stipulation that they are to be given loans at a single-digit interest. No. And what this means is that unless you have deep pocket, you cannot establish an industry successfully.
My name is Eze Igwe Ojike II. I'm the Managing Director of Eze Industries. We are the largest palm oil producing company in Abia State. We were founded in 2012 by Eze Ojike, and we began production on September 14th, 2018. Since then, we have sold palm oil, started by selling small in the market in jerry cans. We progressed to selling in drums, and now we sell exclusively in tankers. We try to meet our customer demand by selling at least a tanker every month. We're also in the business of establishing palm oil estates. We currently own around 250 hectares of land with planted trees. We also have another 3,000 hectares of arid land that we hope to plant. We aim to plant around 10,000 trees a day, 10,000 trees a year. So far, we have planted 10,000 in the last 2 years. We also rent other palm oil estates as far as Ebonyi State, as far as Zikwato, and within our community as well.